Hi everybody, I wanted to do a bit of an update because I've done a fair bit since my last video on working on making this deck. So yeah, I've sketched out quite a few more cards. There's a few blocks, but I'm thinking about whether or not to redraw or to leave them as is, because it's kind of a more natural process. I did the Vinculus card, which if you know the book, the Valet de Coupe is represents the character Vinculus in the book, and I've done L'Empereur, but I think I'm going to redraw that one. But anyway, and then I went through and I did all the cups except I haven't done the courts yet. But I've gone through and drawn the cup suit, and I've still got some more blanks that I can carry on. I'm going to do a bit more of that today, maybe another one of the suits. And then I've been trying experiments with cardstock. So what I've done is I basically glued like a... So when I read about the kind of cardboard that was used during the period that I'm looking at, around 1800, they said they usually glued 3 different types of paper together to form the card, to form the playing card, and paper was often made from kind of pulp fabric. So, I mean, there's only so much I can do, but I've got a kind of thin card, and then I've got like a thicker watercolor paper, and I glued those 2 together. And then there's going to be a third paper, so it will be 3 layers of paper glued together and then with the image glued on top. And the third layer of paper I'm wanting to do as the card back, so I'm trying to do a design, like a nice design, similar to the backs of some other Cards of Marseille. And so I've been sketching out this with pencil and ruler, this grid, and then I'm planning to decorate just with like a little kind of arrow at the top of each of the squares, and to make a kind of pattern for the back of the cards, and then that will be glued onto the whiter side. And I'm also wondering whether to wrap the edges or not. I haven't quite decided yet. I think the wrapping of edges was only something that was done in Italy, so I don't think the character who made this card deck in the book, Johnathan, I don't think he'd have known about wrapping the edges, so I think I might leave it. But it might make it kind of sturdier if I wrap the edges. But as it is, I've cut all of these by hand. I've measured and cut them by hand, so there's obviously a little bit of irregularity, but they actually shuffle pretty well. That's with one side still with a kind of shinier cardstock, and then the other side with the watercolour. But this paper as well it's quite a smooth paper, so I think they might shuffle well. The one thing will be, when I glue these images onto the cards, the edges might end up catching when I shuffle. So I've got to make sure that they're pressed enough. And I think, well, I've got a press. I've got like a little, I do, what's it called? Lino cut prints as well. And I've got like a little lino cut press. So I think if I cover this in plastic and then press it, obviously so that the glue doesn't stick to the press, if I cover it in plastic and like put a layer of plastic over and then press it until it dries, it'll also hopefully keep the cards quite flat. So that's what I'm up to. Whether it's going to work in the end, and obviously the deck's going to be quite kind of bulky, but that's fine. Listen, I mean, I'm not making this, obviously I'm making this as a kind of personal project, So however they turn out, I think it's going to be a nice kind of object to have, and a bit of a kind of fan deck for the book, Johnathan Strange Mr. Norrell. So yeah, that's where I've got to with that. So I'm just going to try and do a little bit of the inking onto the card backs, because I want to see if it works. So I'm just going to leave my camera on for that and probably speed things up. But then hopefully you'll be able to see. Maybe I should do it at an angle like that. Hopefully you'll be able to see if the... Yeah, I'm just a bit worried because this paper is quite thin. I'm a bit worried that the ink is going to blot kind of madly. But anyway, let's see. Okay, so I'm just going to take a pause there because, wow, it's taking a long time. But it's kind of soothing and meditative, and I can watch YouTube in the background or whatever I want to watch. So I'm going to carry on with it. I'm thinking what I might do. I don't think I can do 78 card backs like this by hand, but let's see. I might carry on. But I can also like scan the paper and then print it myself potentially. I'm not sure about this, if this paper is going to work in my printer. I've only got a very dodgy old printer, but let's see. So the plan is, like, once this is all dry, I'll rub out the pencil lines behind and then it'll be like a flat design that I can then paste onto the back of these cards. So then there'll be a sandwich, there'll be a card with the two paper stocks, there'll be the image on top, and then there'll be this on the back, and then that'll all be glued. I'm just using a very basic, like PVA glue, isn't it? Like a white glue. And yeah, so they'll be sandwiched together, and I'll press them and let them dry. Hopefully they'll dry flat. And then I have to decide whether or not I should cover it with something. I mean, as long as they don't get wet. It's not like this is going to rub off or anything. It's you know, it's an ink, but I'll have to see how they shuffle, and if the edges of the paper are going to cause any problems, then maybe I don't know what I'd put on top. Oh, that's right. I saw a video where somebody was soaping the cards, so maybe like a plain soap with no essential oils in. You can actually kind of rub that, and it creates a kind of slidey-ish texture. So that might be something that I could do. I really like this Empress. I think that's one of my favourite drawings. So yeah, that's where I've got to with it. And I'm very excited as well because I've got a Il Meneghello delivery coming today. So I might actually be inspired by their cardstock quality, and I've never had a deck from them before, so yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So there might be another video from me with an unboxing later on. Well, I got this far. It took me ages. I might have smudged. But I got more than A4, so maybe I can photocopy after the majors. Hi again. I'm in my printing studio now, and I just wanted to share because I did my first cards, hopefully the final stage of the cards, and I just wanted to share that with you. So the way I did it, I printed out, so I hand drew this, but then I managed to get a photo of it, or a scan of it rather, and then I printed it out on my printer on the paper that I got. It's quite a nice kind of thin paper for backing the cards, basically. So now they are a card sandwich. I'm still not sure whether I'm going to fold the edges over. I'm quite tempted to fold the edges. So I'm going to cut these out slightly larger than the card, and then try one out and see what it looks like with it folded over. Yeah, and after I'd glued them, I put them in this press. This is actually a press for like lino cuts and wood blocks and things like that. So really cool. So you basically fold down, you need two hands, you fold down that side. It's by Pookie Press, they're a really cool company. And then you fold down there and you press on that arm and it squeezes the paper. So I did that, I squeezed it flat and then I left it under like a mat to dry out. It still feels a little bit damp, it's been there a while. But anyway, if it's going to take me this long every time, I need to improve my workflow for this, because I'm doing just 4 cards on a piece of paper, and that's obviously going to take a very long time if I'm doing 78 in total. But anyway, let's have a look. I'm just going to do it by eye and see how they come out. I mean, again, you know, this is a kind of reconstruction of a work process that the character Childermas in 1800 might have done. So I'm going to assume, because he was working for the character Mr. Norrell, who was quite well off, so I'm going to assume Childemass by 1808 or whenever it was would have had access to paper, which was very expensive at the time, ink and receipts and things like that, and that he would have spent the time to glue the cards. Oh yeah, and he'd have had to have access to glue and then spent the time to glue the cards, back them and so on. But he obviously liked the cards. He, you know, they come up several times in the book. So it would cover up the design on the long edges. Oh, on the short edges rather. But it looks kind of cute like that here. I could make them a little bit narrower. Let's see what the others come out like. Not all of them are as long as that. So in the interests of historical accuracy, I did all the bits of paper slightly different sizes. I do still feel a little bit damp, but they're nice and flat. So that's the Fool. Sorry, I'm wobbling about, but it's because my iPad's in the way. That one is okay at the top. What I should probably do before I do any gluing is scan the images as well, just to make sure if I want to do this again with the same designs, I can reproduce them. Yeah, that would be sensible. Let's have a look at the other two. So that's the Papesse, and yeah, she's got a great big blob on her face, but I'm just forging on with that one. I can always replace it at a later stage if it bothers me, but I kind of like it. It's a bit mysterious, like she's wearing a mask. Okay, and they've come out quite nice. Can you hear that? It's not too thick, but it's not too thin either. Let me just see if... So my worry is that when shuffling, they might catch on each other on the front, glued on front image. And that's why I was thinking of doing the folded over sides. But maybe, see, if I do fold them over and glue them, there's no going back. Then I have to do it for all the cards. So I don't know what to do. I know that's only shuffling 2 cards, but, well, they don't catch. I mean, it will be nice if I can actually use these when I'm done with them, like as a real deck. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there, and I'll update you a bit more later.